John Dory are one of the best eating fish that you can find in New Zealand. And the good thing about them is that they are prolific. You can get them everywhere. They're from the top of the North Island right down to the bottom. You can get them in a metre of water right out to 150 metres. They're everywhere. As long as there is some structure, some weeds or some pylons or some rocks around, you've got a good chance of catching John Dory. They don't fight much, but they are awesome for the table. And the good thing about catching John Dory is that the way you catch them is with live bait. And if you're fishing live bait, you've always got a chance of catching a really big snapper or a decent kingy. Number one way to catch John Dory is using live bait, but you can also catch them on lures. Soft baits and inchiku jigs and that sort of thing will work also. But number one way to catch them is live bait. And if you're going to fish live bait, then you want to be using a light kingfish rig. This is the sort of thing that's really good for targeting John Dory. It's a lightweight kingy rod, plenty of flex in it, and the rig that we're going to use to catch them is a normal live bait running rig. Good live bait outfit is a decent overhead reel with a strong drag system. Lever drag's ideal. 50-pound braid connected to 60-pound mono. You have a running sinker connected to a decent swivel and about 1.5 meters of trace with a 6-bar-0 or a 7-bar-0 live bait hook. So the first thing that you do when you've caught your livey is hook him up just through the front of the nose, through the eyes or up through the top of the mouth, and just deploy him over, and slowly you want to just feed your line out so that your sinker doesn't overtake the live bait on the way down. Just feed it down. If you're on a boat and you've got a sounder and you can see that the fish are at 30 meters, use coloured braid to get yourself down to the level that you need to be at. And then just hold your thumb on the spool. It's always best to fish your live baits actively rather than putting them in the rod holder. You're just now waiting for a strike. So a strike from a John Dory isn't particularly crazy. They've got a great big sucker mouth and they'll just suck the whole bait in one go, and you'll usually hook them pretty easily down around in here somewhere. If you do hook them in the mouth, then just slowly work them up. They're not a huge game fish, so it's going to be like pulling up a gumboot basically. And be very careful when you get them to the boat. If you see that the hook's worn a bit of a hole around the delicate part of their mouth, that's quite often the time you'll drop a John Dory. So they'll come up to the surface pretty nice and softly. Make sure you have a good scoop net ready to scoop them up, otherwise you might see them swim back down. If you find that you're fishing your live bait and your line runs out really quickly, then you've got a big snapper or a kingy on the case. And so just leave it for about 5 seconds, lock up your drag, wait for the weight to come on and haul into it. And at that point, if you've hooked up, then you want to get really aggressive and pump and wind to get it up off the bottom and turn its head. Have a crack at targeting John Dory. You'll probably end up with your personal best snapper or kingy. If not, and you get some John Dory, you'll end up with a wicked feed.